Well, g'day and welcome to It's a Long Bloody Way from My Place to Copeton Dam. I'm going to do a few of these clips as I'm travelling along the road because I'm looking at about a nine-ish hour drive from my place up here. They're pretty wide, safe, open roads, and if I'm not making eye contact with the camera, it's because I'm concentrating on my driving. But it does give you the opportunity to mull over your thoughts, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to discuss a couple of things around social media. Something that I didn't grow up with, obviously. I'm an 80s model, 1981 I was born, and we didn't even have mobile phones back then. We had a phone up on the wall, or we even had one with a dial on it back then. We didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have the old social media or any of that sort of carry on, and it was a different world, but this is the world we live in now. Otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here being able to talk to you. But with that comes some positives and negatives. So it's obviously positive that you're able to share with your friends and family what's going on in your life, what you've been up to. I think we've sort of got past the whole let's take a photo of breakfast thing. That got pretty old pretty quick. But hey, if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. I'm talking more a little bit on the fishing side, and also, excuse me, and after speaking to a mate of mine recently, it's also coming into the hunting world as well. And it's just the negativity, the niggling, the nitpicking, I used to call it the tall poppy syndrome when I was back in school. They would talk about this thing called the tall poppy syndrome, and basically if you stand up higher than the rest of the poppies around you, someone's going to be there to scythe you down and will cut you down, and that still exists in a big way. And I think one of the downfalls of social media is it's given people a platform and a way to share those negative thoughts, basically to try and tear people down. So if you're like me and you like to share and help people in any particular field, I love to share my fishing expeditions and share with people where I'm catching fish and how I'm catching them, things like that. But it's not even an older generation. That's right through, where people have got some sort of false sense of ownership over their local waterways, and they get really upset if there's a landmark that people can see, or if you talk about a stretch of a river or something like that. And I don't know, I find that it sort of doesn't fit in. I've fished my whole life. I've fished since I was 5 years old. When I grew up fishing, there was there was magazines, there was some old books. I remember an old blue, they were like a binder, and I think it was an uncle or someone who was somehow related to us. I was young, I was only a kid. I basically collected, it was like a monthly booklet that would come out and go into a binder. I lived by that thing. The information was that outdated, it wasn't funny, but I didn't care. That's all I had. And then things like freshwater fishing monthly and a few other bits and pieces were around back then as well. But the point I was trying to make is that I had access to a very limited amount of information growing up and learning how to fish. My two go-to points was me dad and me pop. Fairly old school fisherman. I still fish with me dad nowadays. The learning's actually sort of going back the other way, which is, I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of exciting for both of us, I reckon. And I love that I can still fish with me dad. It's great. But the information was fairly limited. Nowadays, it's there. I mean, it's all out there for the world to see. If you're savvy enough to follow along, you can gather a hell of a lot of information from social media, and I think it's great if it's encouraging people to get out there and fish more and things like that. As long as you're doing the right thing, you're looking after the waterway, keeping within the laws of the bag limits and size limits and things like that. I think it's fantastic. The more people that fish, the better. I don't go out and create more content on other people's local areas than mine. I actually create more at my local waterway because I'm there more often, and I'm happy to share. And that does attract a certain amount of negativity. And, I try to be understanding of that and sort of look at it from those people's point of view, but I really just don't get it. I've certainly seen a lot of changes in that 35 odd years that I've been fishing, and I do a lot of different styles of fishing, but yes, we've had troubles with illegal fishing. We have troubles with netting along the coast, and that's terrible. I think one of the biggest issues nowadays is not stocking levels. I mean, if you look at the impoundments that I fish a lot, and even the rivers, the fishing in those places is better than it's ever been, really, in my lifetime. It's fantastic. Stocking levels are right up there. The rivers and the lakes are fishing really well. We're sharing information. I'm sharing information. Other people are sharing information, but guess what? People are still catching fish. And there's more people out there doing it, so yes, there is going to be more fishing pressure. But that's okay. It's an absolutely incredible pastime. It's an incredible sport, leisure activity, a way of clearing your head. It brings so many great things into people's lives, and if sharing things on social media means that more people get out there and do it, I'm here for it. I don't see how that can be a bad thing. I really don't. So if you've been in that situation, and trust me, I have been there, and it's not great. I'm fairly, I don't know, I guess I don't pay a whole lot of attention to what people think of me in what I do. I'm pretty confident that I'm doing the right thing by the world, the right thing by the fish, the right thing by the people out there. And so it's kind of hard to knock me down, but I'm certainly subject to negativity, and so are some of the people around me, and it can actually niggle at you a bit. And if it does, that's totally normal. If you post something and someone has a shot at you, it is normal to actually take that personally, because it is actually an attack on you. But the thing you've got to remember is the people who are attacking you are very, very likely to have some sort of inadequacy in their own life. It is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. Like I said, if you're out there just enjoying yourself, doing all the right things, you're not the problem. The problem is the person on the other side. They could have their own struggles in their life. They may be jealous of the fact that you're out there in the first place. They might be jealous of the fish that you've caught. They might not like the fact that you're fishing at their local spot. They've got this ownership issue where they think they've got some sort of say over who gets to fish a public waterway. That's just ridiculous. Like I said, the message that I want you to take away from this is you need to flip it and put it back to the fact that it's actually they're the problem. You are not the problem. You posting a photo of a fish and going, hey, look at this, I caught this fish. I always like to share some sort of insight into it rather than just boasting. But hey, who cares? If you've been out there, especially with this bloody, the winter cod thing, you're out there in the freezing cold, in the dark, catching a big fish. I don't care how you're catching it. Bloody good on you. Share it with the world. If someone on the other end goes, oh, look at this, he's just another bloody out there scoping up fish or whatever, just keep rolling, mate. No one really cares about your opinion. Just roll on. It's their, like I said, it's their problem. You know, they might think that they're this all old school, authentic, blah blah blah. I've been fishing for longer than half those blokes who carry on with that bullshit, and I'm fishing with live scope, and I have no issue with it. But I know that some people do. Whatever. It will be a subject for a future episode. Not too far down the track here, I'd say, while I'm on the road again. But just remember, you're not the problem. The turkey on the other end of that social media feed who's having a crack at you, they're the problem. They have some sort of shortcoming in their life, and they're trying to stand on top of people to lift themselves up rather than trying to stand with people and help each other up. Keep that in mind and keep fishing.